So are you guys all able to see my screen? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So in yesterday lecture, I have completed about the part 4 of our CSS, in which I have told you about how to use the inspect element of Google Chrome browser and any Chromium browser, so that you can understand how to edit HTML and CSS in real time on any web page which is available in the world. Before that, I also have told you about how to add CSS in using class name, and how to add CSS using ID, and apart from the selector method. You already aware about the selector method. Selector method is used for giving CSS to particular tags of HTML. Uh, After that, we have encountered with the class, how to use the class to give a CSS particular section, and on top of that, I also discussed about ID. So ID is not dependent to anyone, any class or any other tags of HTML. So if you apply the CSS to ID, that CSS will not override by any other. Okay. So let me tell you about today's lecture. So today lecture, this is the part 5 of our CSS, and in which in this lecture I will briefly cover a CSS topic called specificity, and this specificity defines the hierarchy of CSS styling. Okay, and what types of tags override others, and what type of tags can remove the functionality of other tags. So let's get started about it, and after that I will tell you about the CSS assessment. So what you need to do for this assessment, because we have completed the part 1 of our CSS, so I need to give the assessment also, so that you can practice CSS in your home. Okay, so let me start my this same HTML, that is part 2 HTML, and uh, I also started my browser, in which I also started my website, that is part 2. So yesterday, those have not joined it, actually, what I have done yesterday, I make this HTML file. You can see here S3, then division 1, then division 2, then ID paragraph, that is using ID, then one heading, then some list. And I also applied the CSS on this different tags, and in this CSS file I have added some CSS regarding to that our classes, that is first div class, second div class, and for ID, singled out ID, I have added CSS, and for I have also shown you about this S3 plus UL. You can add the CSS by adding the two tags of HTML, and you can also add CSS like that. If you have two anchor tags in two list items, you can specify one anchor tag by with the help of giving that anchor tag href, so that this href anchor tag only uh, will get the CSS of this color red and this border. Okay, so this thing I have introduced you yesterday. So let me remove that for today lecture. I I will introduce you something else for that. Okay, so let me code. So in this today lecture, I will tell you about the specificity. So that's why I need to make a one heading, that is H for heading, and this will tell you about the specificity. Okay, and I will close that H4, so that I will move further. And next, I will add the unordered list. In unordered list, I will add one li. That li will tell you about the list item. Okay, so first li, I will add the class. I am adding the class, one class, that is uh, telling about the top items. So I need to give the top items class. Okay. So this is top items class, and after that I will write some text. So I will write this is first. Actually, this list is first. That's why I'm written here first. Next li is which is using the id. Okay, so that I can tell you specificity of any tags in css. So that id, so the id should be 2 because this li is 2. That's why id should be 2. And I also add the class here so that you can understand which will dominate for that css. Okay, so items top items and section. This will tell you about the second list. Okay, then after that we have li3. So that is simple only. Third, and after that we have li4. That will be fourt is fourth. Okay, so let me close this and save this. And I also wanted to change the css of that, so I need to remove that. Okay, so let me save this also. Now you can see our web page have changed actually. So I am telling about the specificity. So let me add some css so that you can understand what I am talking about. Okay, so first of all I want to give the css to li tag. Okay, so when I will add the css for li tag like that, then this color. Okay, and color should be red. Then let me save this. Okay, let you can see what will happen. So after giving the css color red to li means all the li. So here now we are not checking about what is class, what is id. I only given the css to li tag. So here we can't differentiate about it. But let me tell you further about how to add the css for class. So for class, how to add the css? Dot, then class name. Okay, then class name, and after the class name I will add the css. That should be color blue. Okay, so that should be color blue. So let me save this. Now I want to check actually. So this class name, this class css will override it li or not. I need to check. So yes, it's override. So we have learned first css, how to add css to any tags in html. So that is very basic. After that we have learned about how to add css to any class which I have added in html, any class. So that class css will override the selector methods. Then after that, let me add the css to our what id. Okay, so let me add the css to id so that you can understand is id method is override to class method or not. So yes, it will also override. Okay, so let me add the border, 3 pixel, 3 pixel. That should be solid and it should be black. Okay, so let me save this, and after saving you can see in the second li I have used the id2. That's why it applied the css to id2. And let me show you by changing the color. So I want to give the color here also, so you can understand the color. So I want to give the color green. Okay, so let me save this, and it will also override. Okay, here you can see our id css have override to class css, but here in the same tag I have used id and class also. Okay, but it is overriding, id is overriding to class name. So this is the specificity of any tag which is available uh, on which is telling about you about the css functionality, css rules. Okay, so this is all about the first part of css. Okay, after that I will introduce you about assessment, but before that I wanted to tell you something about the resources which is available on internet. So one css w3 schools you can uh, explore, and another is important website, that is design sec. Okay, so let me search one keyword. What is the heck in what is the heck is css specificity? So then what is the heck about the css specificity? So let me see which website will come. So here this is the important website actually. So this design sec website will tell you about the uh, heck about the CSS specificity. So I want you all need to learn about the this article so that you can understand the specificity of the CSS. Like here it is telling dot class versus dot class, which will who will wins. Okay, and it is telling about you example also. So I will also learn, I will also teach about it, this article. I have not learned fully about it, so we will together study about it. Okay, so let me do this in this lecture only, so I will tell you about the css. Okay, so this is specificity. You can see the funny word. So right from the outside it is communicate the idea that this is going to be complicated. So this is complicated topic, but you can see it bar is bigger than bytes. So if you learn it, you can build more important applications. So there is no reason that you can't pick most of the stuff in few minutes or less. Okay, so it will take time you learn anything. So first, I wanted to tell you about who would win in a fight. So last shall be the first. but last first भी हो सकता है. So our first battle you can see, let pit two essentially identical selectors against each other. Okay, how do we know which selector would win? Okay, all these are two are similar, but who will win? Let me tell you about this example. Okay, so here we have class, that is blue box class. Imagine that we have following setup on our web page. So this is the HTML. In this division we have class blue box, and a division tag I have given the CSS height 200 pixel and width this, and the dot blue means this blue box class. Blue means blue box class. So you have the class name this blue and box also. So here we have an equal matchup. So both class are applied to the same division with no other complexities to muck up the
Hmm.
exam. Hello,
ఏంటి
hello.
सॉरी सर म्यूट हो गए
Okay. So here who will win? Actually, this blue class will win here definitely. So the first thing I want to tell you, don't write the CS class name in two words. This will become the complicated for everyone. So if you write the class in two words, only first word that is defining the CSS that will apply applied on into your web page only. Okay, but here you can see here we have an equal matchup. Uh, both class are applied to the same division with no other complexities to muck up the examples. Let's let them battle it out and see who wins. But here the box is red. That means the dot box class won. But why? You probably already know the answer, right? It can last. Switch the selector around and see the opposite outcomes. So here blue wins. Okay. So here the square is blue because the dot blue. Okay, dot blue is come last. Override the box. So here this is the hack actually. So whenever you write the first of all you don't try to write the class name in two words. If you write the class name in two words, so the word that will come to the last that should apply to the first. Okay, here it is the trick here. If any class you see which is in two words, so that word that come to the last that will apply their functionality. Because when you write dot blue, it become the blue. When you write dot box, it becomes the red. So here this dot box CSS override this dot blue CSS. So I usually when write the CSS, I'm not writing the two word CSS actually. So whenever you find this type of CSS and you find this two CSS for two different words, then last one will always won the race. Okay. So here dot box won the race, and I have changed. They have changed the word. Now they have written the blue in second position. Now this is winning. Okay, actually, this is the winner here. The blue. So in the last, which word you want to give? That should apply to the class. Okay. So this is one regarding to the same class name. Okay, so class does not exchange who you are. So here you can see hashtag ID and dot class, and now it is telling you about who will won the race. So this I already told you. ID always won the race. And let me see. Let me see. So here we have class box and ID also box. Okay, division, then ID ID CSS is blue and class CSS is red. But here you can see who is the winner, that ID. So ID is always specific to class. So ID always win. Okay. So we have two concept, pseudo class or pseudo element. These things are also available. So whenever you see the class like that, we have h2 tag and we have h2 then colon then first child. Okay, this is the pseudo class actually. The this will telling you about the color blue. Now this h2 double colon first line this color red, but here this element is going to red. So will the h2 be red or blue? Let's find out. This is red, so pseudo element takes it. Okay, so whenever you encounter with pseudo class or pseudo element, then pseudo element will always win. Or you can remember that double colon things always win. So when you encountered with double colon in your CSS part, so that always win. Okay. So sometimes what happened actually in media uh, media element is many media element are here in CSS. So on the basis of that they are using the double colon sign, so that will encounter first. So pseudo class did not stand a chance. But why? What behind the scene is taking place here? How can we sure the outcomes before we then try? So this is the rules of specificity. Actually this is the rules of specificity. So ID inline style. So whenever you encountered with inline style, that will come first, then id, then class, attribute, pseudo class, then element, the pseudo element. So, okay, so this is long articles. I will send. I am sending you this in the chat box so that you can understand the. You can learn on your basis. Okay. So in the chat box you can find this article. Okay, let me tell you about the our this. So let me tell you about the assessment. Okay. So I will give you the CSS level 1 assessment. In CSS level 1 assessment, I will give you that CSS file actually. So this CSS level 1 assessment.css, remember, this is not containing any CSS, but it is containing some text regarding to that how to give the CSS a particular text. So then task 1, give the body element of the site a light blue background. Okay, and this will apply to this HTML actually. So this HTML I will send you. Okay, so this HTML I will send you. This is already available. Okay, this is already written. So this HTML I will send you on, and you need to write the CSS for that HTML. Okay, so that you can run easily, because this CSS level 1 test solution.css already linked in this HTML. So you need to write the same CSS in the same CSS file, that is CSS level 1 assessment.css. Okay. So these things I will send you. Okay. And let me tell you about the this HTML is looking like. How is this HTML is looking like? Okay. So CSS level 1 assessment I will tell you. Okay. Let me open this. So after applying the CSS, this website will look like that. Okay, this website will look like that. Okay, after applying the CSS, this is the solution actually. But after the CSS, without CSS, how it look like, let me show you. So when I remove that and save that, and you can see this website will look like that. Okay, what you need to do, you need to write the CSS for that, so that you can understand how to write the CSS for each tags of HTML. So this is the actually today's assessment. Okay, this these both code file, HTML file and CSS file, I will send you into the this group. Okay. Okay, let me close the recording.